אני רוצה שתספרי את הסיפור כמה שיותר רצוף, שאת יכולה כמה שיותר פרטים, אפילו אם יש לך עוד שעה זוכרת תוך כדי. באמת אפילו זה שיה, נכון?
שיה.
שהיא ישנה, זאת אומרת כל מה שאת יכולה בפרטים, אני פשוט לא רוצה לעצור אותך.
אוקיי.
אם את צריכה הפסקה, לעצור, כל דבר, אנחנו פה.
אוקיי.
כל הזמן.
הוא במקום חשוב.
אז אין בעיה, אני בינתיים איתה. כן, היא ערה, היא תבכה. בינתיים אני פה.
היא צריכה להתרגל קצת בעגלה. אני העליתי איתה, אולי זה...
את רוצה לנסות? ואז תעשי איתה אולי סיבובים?
כן.
אפשר כאילו מסביב לבית, זה.
אל תתרגל.
כן? אוקיי. שיה, אנחנו ננסה לא לשנוא את אמא. רגע. הופה. נכון. וואי וואי. שנייה. סליחה, אין לי מי שישמור עליה, זה. סילבי, תמשיכי פיזית ללכת איתה, היא תראה תעלים. בדיוק.
שיילי, אני
יאללה.
צריכה לצלם כל מרואיין, אני יכולה לצלם אותך רגע?
כן.
סטיב? סבבה.
הנה, עכשיו אסף פה אחיו, אז אני קצת רגע...
אוקיי. היי, שיילי.
היי.
So, first of all, introduce yourself, and then we will go back to October 7th.
Okay. So my name is Shaili Atari. Shaili Atari Wiener. My husband was murdered on the 7th of October in Kibbutz Kfar Aza, while he sacrificed his life holding the terrorist that came into our bedroom. And this is why me and Shaya, my 1-month-old daughter, 1.5 months, could escape, because he held them so that me and her can run away and escape. Yeah.
So, let's go from the beginning. Describe what's happened there.
So it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Yav woke me up so I can we can change shifts with Shaya. He told me she is gonna wake up hungry soon. Said okay. He came into the bedroom. I went to the living room and I waited her to wake up so I can feed her. I waited, but she didn't wake up. I think it was 6:30 when I heard the first bombing. I was awake, but the explosion were massive in a way that I didn't knew till then. Something felt really wrong. I took Shaya. I came into the bedroom. Yav was already there awake. We tried to understand why there wasn't even an alarm. Tseva Adom. It started only after the explosions. So I came in. I was hyperventilating, like this. I was crying. Like it was. I couldn't relax myself. So Yav told me put Shaya on the bed. We put her on the bed on her tummy. She was asleep. I was very stressed. We tried to figure out what happened. We text all the WhatsApp groups we have of our friends in the community. What happened? We sent a message to the Ravshatz, like the security manager of our kibbutz Shachar Aviani, which was also murdered. We didn't know then. So we texted him, Shachar, what's going on? And Yav tried to calm me down for the child. And I remember telling him, Mommy, אני מרגישה שאני הולכת למות, is it means like, honey, I feel like I'm gonna die. And he was like texting saying, no, relax, like I'm hysteric. I asked him if I can pray, so I said Shema Yisrael, and I said, and he said Amen. I said Shir Lama'alot, Shir Lama'alot, like every prayer I knew by heart. And he said like Amen, but then I felt a warm energy going through my back and up. And I told him, Mami, אנחנו הולכים למות היום. Honey, we're gonna die today. And he said, אנחנו לא הולכים למות היום. Like, we're not gonna die today. They were shooting, starting at the kibbutz. I understood it's getting worse because if you hear an explosion, you can say that's rockets. We're having them at least 2 times a year this time of massive, only rockets. But when the shooting started, it means you have an infiltration of terrorists inside your village. And this stressed me out so much. And then we got a message to keep us inside the safe room, don't go out, and lock the doors. So Yav and me understood that Buckley, our dog, is not with us, and he wanted to go out and look for him and said, no, please don't look, please. I was so afraid of us, but he did go and bring Buckley. Buckley is alive, so cute, and he came to bring it to the safe room. Shai was still asleep. The texting in the group started to be in the WhatsApp group. I hear the shooting next to me. They're shooting outside of my window. And then we heard, and people were asking, are you sure? I think they're inside our village. And then me and Yav heard, Tal. And a lot of, like a group of terrorists were like making a group outside of our window. I remember there's footsteps on the grass, on the grass outside of the window, and on autumn leaves, like autumn leaves cracking. And I understand they're so close. And we changed to sign language. The agreement was, you're holding the door, I'm with the baby. This was the agreement, and we kept quiet. Even the dog was quiet. Shaya was sleeping. He tried to record them outside of our window, saying hello to each other, laughing, Tal, but he didn't make, I mean, in the middle of the voice message, they already opened the window, not the door. We thought they will come in from the door, but they suddenly opened the window of the safe room. So they took the blinds out, and then they moved the iron rail, and I saw a hand inside my bedroom. And I knew that hand didn't come to shake my hand, like we both, but it was so fast that we didn't have a lot of time to say goodbye. It was like, and he opened the glass of the safe room window and tried to push the iron rail, tried to push the iron rail against them. And in one moment I just took Shaya on my hands and ran away with no shoes, phone, nothing. I just like, and I'm disabled in my legs, so I'm limping. So the running was not fast like a able-bodied person. But I did it as fast as I could because they were shooting at us. I remember opening the safe room door, I had an accordion door in Shaya's room, and then the entrance door, run away. I thought I will get shot in the minute, because my house is very little. So if they are on my window, and it heard like there are 50, it was a lot. Afterwards, I understand there were 70 terrorists in our house at that specific time. So I assumed that they will be also on the front door, but they didn't make it. I went very fast. It was a glance between us. And then I ran away. I took left and I ran with Shaya, not like looking back, but I heard it's like sounds of shootings next to me on a tree, and I tried to hide in bushes. I remember thinking they're shooting at me and a baby, a 1-month-old baby. And that time I understand that Yav is dead. I saw their hand inside our safe room. So this was so hard because I understand I need to keep running and not think right now. So I tried to take cover behind bushes, behind a little motorcycle, behind another bush. I went on the side because they were running after me. I heard Tal, Tal, like it's a prize to kill me and the baby. I knocked on doors when I was hiding in one of my neighbor's bushes of garden, but I knew that if I would say Yardena, it's Shaili, so they will know where I am because I was the only one outside. They told us to keep inside the safe room, so I couldn't. I knocked on the doors. Afterward, I understand she called her daughters and tell them there are terrorists in my window, there are terrorists in my doors. But her net door saved me for a while because I could hide with Shaya. In the net door, it was not locked like all the houses. So I waited a bit there until the terrorists will leave. I heard less tal tal, and then I went through the gardens. I found a garden shed that was open. I came in and I heard for I looked for something sharp. So I found a hammer and a screwdriver with a chisel, I think. And then I put one inside my pajamas pocket, one in my hand, and I covered us behind a washing machine. There were empty pots and a send of bag. I put them on me and on Shaya. And she was still sleeping. Yeah, I don't know how, but this was very hard, that specific moment when I sat down and I understand, okay, now that wasn't only an animal instincts inside me, it was, I started to acknowledge what made me come here and be right now here. And I remember inside my head, I felt like, no, 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 don't go away, don't go away. Like this is what it felt, but from the outside, what Shaya felt or saw is like my pinky. This is like we stayed there for a while. I heard shooting and bombings everywhere. I felt there are hundreds. There are thousands. I remember that I felt there are more and more. So I prayed for Shaya to be quiet and sleep. But then she started crying. Understood I have to go to go outside because they will come after me. If they come after me while I'm running, they want to kill us now. So I had to run away. I went outside through a window and a bush, and then I understand I need to go to pass the big lawn of Saftot. It's our neighborhood. It's called Saftot, but there is a big lawn that all of the houses can see whoever goes through that lawn. And I told myself, if I will be killed now, this is with Shaya, now this is the moment, because they can shoot me from everywhere. But I had to run away because she was crying. And I heard the Tal Tal coming near me, like, we found her. And I ran. I didn't look back. I saw a laundry room open on the other side of the land in the house of one of my neighbors. And I told myself, it's open. I can lock the door. So I ran. I almost got in. And then I heard from the blinds someone telling me, come in, come in. This was Zoli, my neighbor, and Liron, and their 3 children. When I came into their house, it was all dark. They put the windows shut down, and one of their child, they have 3 kids, started to cry when he saw me, like a big shadow of a person like me holding a hammer and he didn't saw it's a baby. It's like the shadow, probably. He thought I'm a terrorist. He started crying, and I entered and I said, sorry, I didn't know where to go with their stores for our brother. I don't know where to go. And I told him, Yav is dead. Yav is dead. They shot him. They were inside our bedroom. And she told me, you did exactly what you need to do. Afterwards, I understand, she told me when I continued crying and asked for if there's something I can bring her to eat. I can't breastfeed, so I didn't have nothing to feed her. So she told me then that her sister died too, and her husband, and they got their child told her, Mommy and Daddy are dead. I see them, and I don't know where is the little girl. She's now kidnapped in Gaza, along with the neighbors, the neighbor and her 3 kids. So they probably think it's one of her kids, so they think it's a woman with 3 kids. And the neighbor of her sister is also, like me, lost her husband in front of her. Yeah. So they risked their lives. They put me and Shaya with them in the safe room. And we were besieged there for 27 hours with no food and water for Shaya when she was in the end apathic, because our neighbor's house, who is also in the hospital till now, not breathing, went on fire. So we took all the smoke, and Shaya was apathic in the end. She took a lot of smoke. She needed oxygen for 2 days, 1-month-old baby. I was so afraid that I couldn't save her. But now she's okay. She was dehydrated. And she was, afterwards, when I saw the hospital report, it says she's dehydrated. You can see she's crying with no tears. This is what I feel right now. I don't have enough tears to grasp all of this. I cannot cry on my friends or my cat or my house that is burned. I cannot even understand what my body has been through, running away with a 1-month-old daughter from terrorists wanting to kill you. Or every time we were in the safe room of that family, they shot us doubled when Shaya was crying, and when she was quiet, it felt like we killed the baby, like it was a competition. So I don't have time to adjust this. I only mourn. I even don't understand like how Yav died. How
You don't know?
I know. I just don't. I'm not willing to accept it because it's so cruel, and I still don't understand how people can do such a thing. We're not soldiers. We're people with a crib in our bedroom and a trolley of a child. I know how he was dead because afterwards a soldier that found him came and talked to me and told me I had to understand how did he die, because I wanted to know if he suffered or not. As I heard already that there were 70 terrorists inside our house, and I heard what they did to other of my friends. My really good friend got a picture of her husband's legs with shoes. And women were raped. They found their body raped, my friend. So I wanted to know if they butchered him or what they did to his body. But I had a little hope that because it was very early, maybe they didn't stop in that house for a time and enjoyed like butchering him, and because they needed to go to the next house. And I think that's what's happened, because we were on the first that after the terrorist infiltration, they were still texting. They didn't know where Yav. Why doesn't he continue texting? And this was because he was already dead. So it was really on the start. So maybe they just went to the next house, because also on my neighbors, this is where they have a big group. They killed her dog, I know, and her husband, I know, killed outside, but I know that in that house they stay. So maybe they just moved, because his body was not the soldier told me he looked as I remember him. It was easy to identify. The major shot was in the back of the head, and he told me he was with eyes open, as you know, in blue eyes, looking at the horizon. He tried to calm me down that he died fast. And the other thing that made me a bit feel a bit comfort is that Yav not only blocked them on the window. Afterwards, when they came in from the window, I left all the doors open for him to run after me, and I thought that would happen. But maybe I knew he wouldn't, because if I know my husband, he knows I'm disabled in my leg, and he wanted to be a father more than anything in the world. He's a filmmaker. If he would be films child, I think he would never be a filmmaker. He wanted to be a dad in all of his heart. We came to the kibbutz where he grew up there for us to raise a family near his parents. And for the community, and having kids in the village is really, really special, like the old world that you don't see anymore, in the modern world. So he didn't even not block them on the window. He tried to hold them on the accordion door, plastic lousy accordion door. And how did he block the door? With a trolley of the child. So he died under the trolley. And I asked him, but how come the shooting was from the back? So he blocked them with the trolley, and then he managed to run away, and they shot him. And he told me, no, Shaili, he never tried to run. He tried to hold them down until he died. They came in from the front. This is why probably you heard the shootings. So if he wouldn't hold them down, because they came already from the front and shot him, you would be dead. Yeah. Because it was important to me to hear that, because on the first day I told myself, why now I didn't tell him, what are you doing? Don't be a hero, come with me. Like, why in that specific time I didn't say it? I felt horrible for not saying it. Even if we did an agreement, you're holding the door, I'm with the kid. Who cares, Shaili? Tell him. I wanted to ask you, תגידי לו. Why didn't you tell him? Because afterwards, I remember, for me, the most hard second in that whole 27 hours we were besieged with no food, no water. For me, it was like hell. That the moment when the army came to rescue us, and I needed to go outside of the family that saves me safe room, and through the cars of the army. Not because I was afraid. In that specific time I understood in my guts, even though there were rumors that he was injured and he's in a hospital, I felt he's dead, and I felt that now when I'm leaving this safe room, I will be alone. And I felt like I'm going to a life where the light of my life went off. Her kids tried to calm me down. Shaili, don't be afraid. They won't shoot you. There's army outside. That's it. They're not going to shoot us anymore. we don't. I promised them a helicopter that was saved us. And they tell me, you see, we don't need a helicopter. We can go walking with a car. We can just go. And they didn't understand. I don't want to leave them. They were my last family, you know. We had little codes that when they're shooting at us, we can pray together. And I told them, Shema Yisrael Adonai 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 Echad, they said Amen. And we had an arrangement like, you're holding the spoiled milk. We need to share, 5 person and a child, because they came from abroad, so they didn't have to eat. And people did their bathrooms needs inside the safe room. I think most of my friends, like all of who I spoke to. So we couldn't go out, so we had like microorganism of reality over there. And when I understand that I'm going away from that room, this is the only time that I will ever feel family again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Turn up. I don't know what to say else.
How in the end you came here? How you escaped there?
The army took us out. All of that neighbor, either all the houses were in that big lawn of the Saftot, so much of them were killed. Gila Peled, Tammy Peleg, her husband. This was like, I don't know. We think that the one who saved us is Yahav, maybe, in the family, because this is what I think. Because the terrorists came in our house, but they couldn't find the safe room. Because the Saftot, why is it called Saftot, the grandmother's neighborhood in the kibbutz Kfar Aza? Because it was once of grandmothers, and there was there was a big dining room, no need for a kitchen, and then they put a kitchen in, and then they died, and they put this house would be for couples, and then couples with a child, and then a safe room. So the houses are built old and not organized like regularly. Outside, you don't see it's a safe room. It looks like a regular window. So they didn't understand where is the safe room because the house was like this. So we were one of the only survivor of of Safto's neighborhood, especially on that big lawn me and Shaya ran through. A lot of people are not with us, whole families from there. So when I got away, because they already knew there is a baby who is apathic, so when a doctor were waiting for us outside, and then they took us to an ambulance in Netivot, and that was waiting for us, and then to Soroka Hospital. But I remember that because we had to go fast because Shai was not in a good condition. We had to go through that horrified 232 road, where I can't tell you how much cars and body was over there, and you could see kids cheer on the back of cars, or people shot like this, and there are so many they could not even take all their bodies yet. But the road was like an apocalypse film. You know, all the time, especially was when I was with Shaya in the garden shed. I told myself, Shaili, think about Holocaust films. What will a mother and a baby would do? Because this is how it felt. Because I felt they're actually running after me, and Shaya like she's a prey to kill a baby. So I felt, think about Holocaust film. They also wanted to kill a baby, right? So think about it, because no regular situation in my regular reality could be even close to what we've been through. And also the way even it was, it even wasn't sterile. I don't know how to say it in English. That means it's not like they didn't push the button and killed us all together and they could continue. They enjoyed taking heads, raping women, I don't know, dead or before that, but they raped my friend, and they killed people I know that are suffering. You can see when you touch a body how much did they suffer and lost blood. So the government, only if you ask, will tell you, but they cannot tell people how they found their families. They were burned. Some of them were only recognized by teeth, photos, like medical photos. It could not be recognized. I tried to tell myself, a lot of people who came to the Shiva in this house that people gave us, we are now in a home that a very good person gave us to stay in, the whole family. Yahav, mother and father, and his brothers and his grandmother. We all were besieged in different safe rooms in the kibbutz. But we all don't have homes now. We all have no cars. All of the kibbutz are staying with people from their generosity. But we don't have also where to come back. I think it's better for me to know that the house is burned. Because if I would see a picture of the house I remembered, the one that we decorate from Pinterest, and I volunteer in a second-hand shop in the kibbutz with a lot of women hid there. So every little detail in the house was second-hand that I did in my hands. I colored it. So if I could see it alive, it would be much harder for me to always know that there is a specific place that I'm not coming back, but it's there. And now that I know my whole reality was burned with Yahav, but his body was not burned. They took him, I think 2 days before the fighting came back. So he was. least his body was not burned. The house is, but he was able. They were able to recognize him because they took his body. I think 2 days or 3 days before that the finding continued. I don't know where I'm going from here. He was my life. We did everything together. He's a filmmaker and I'm too. We're together for 8.5 years. No, not 8, 10.5 years, and 13 together, best friends. We met as partners in the acting studio, so this is what we know. We did all of our work together. We finished shooting. We did 3 films inside that kibbutz. Kibbutz Kfar Aza was also our production company, I feel. We finished shooting a film in July that me and him was the main actors, and all the actors were community members. Yeah, they all volunteered or worked with us. I taught them acting with Yav for a month and a half, but now all of the main actors, Iris, her son is kidnapped to Gaza with Tam, and Shaili, her dad is dead, was murdered, the start, and Liora, a very main actress, our neighbor, her son is dead. So, and all the extras, half of them or more are not alive. Even children, even extras of children. And Yav is not alive. There are times in that running of mine or trying to keep Shaya, I did like for 27 hours. So in that hours that I felt my hand is already, I cannot move her. I remember thinking about very weird thoughts that I try to think like as regular. I thought myself, when I will finish editing the film, you understand? Sometimes me and Yav creation together helped me go through the towers. You need to find something normal to think about, because if not, you will freeze. I miss him so much. She looks like him. She's very alike. So sad that you won't be able to raise her and see her first smile was inside the safe room of the neighbor. I told her, Liron, she's smiling and he cannot see her. I remember being so sad about it. He cannot see her first smile. And I remember saying, Yahav, because I told myself it was before I knew it was, the rumor said that he was injured and he was evacuated. I remember saying, Yahav, like, is Shaya now smiling because you're telling him bye-bye? This is what I want to believe.
Shai, you have a message for all the people watching?
Did you see me now? Me and Yav as filmmakers are very human is very important to us, making film compassion. His last film, The Boy, was about a person that has PTSD, post-trauma, on seeing his neighbors, like Yahav. Yahav saw his neighbor in 2008 bombed inside of his. He was the first one who saw him in the garden. It was the father of his best friend, Jimmy Kdoshim, and he was bombed in front of Yahav's eyes and broken into pieces of bodies. And Yahav had a very big trauma, but he decided to go and come back to live in that specific place where his soul was broken apart. Why? Because he told me, I want to come back to my roots. And Yahav did a film about a person, a young man that his soul is broken, and his relationship with his dad is helping him to come back to reality. But his major conflict was that he wants to go to Gaza, because living on the fence is hard, because you wanna. I remember Yahav told me, my first bicycle are from Gaza. His dead workers, they worked together when he was a child on the fields. But I truly understood after this massacre that Hamas is not a government or a movement. They are a terror organization. And I truly think that I'm sure there are good people over there in Gaza who don't want this to be their government. They want their child to go to buy bicycle wherever he wants and go to have a government that can allow him to be whatever he wants, and not the terrorists. I'm sure there are people who don't want that over there. But I saw in my eyes what they did, and it's not a government. No, it's not. I think if people don't condemn it, they would be on the really bad side of the history, of the propaganda history. I wish we could be good neighbors and we could buy bicycle for each other.
You have a wish for yourself?
I wish to be strong for Shaya as I can, but allow myself also to heal my soul, so that there won't be leftovers of this trauma that will hurt her. So I'm wishing myself only power, that I will have power for this next life without him, that I will have strength. I'm very sad right now. I can't describe to you how much broken I feel, but I know that every time Shaya cries, or every time she needs me, like in that instinct that took my legs and made me run away with her, knowing I'll be probably shot, but I did for saving her, it's the same thing. Like when she cries, I just take myself up, take her and said, shh, shh, and sings to her. So I know I will be a good mom, but I hope that someday I would love my life like a pinky of the life I did. I was then very lucky and I understood that. I remember every person that I talked to, I told them I'm happy. I had my best friend for love. I had an amazing community to raise my child in. My little home was everything I needed, and I didn't need something more. And I did art. I had And it's not like the situation you tell yourself, I didn't appreciate what I had. I did. So I truly only wish myself that some days I will wake up in the morning and say to myself, my life is okay. That's it. It's only what I ask myself. Not super okay. Okay. Not only for her. For her, it will happen. I know. But for me, let's say one day I will be happy that not only to show her, like she will feel it, that I'm happy. But I don't know where it happened and I don't know if it will happen.
I hope for you.
Now I try to think second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour, the most. If I will think of more than an hour, you wanna die. It's too hard to grasp it all. So for the kid, for Shaya, I try to think second to second. Now she needs a diaper. Now she's sleeping. I can talk to someone, like step.
Surviving.
Survival game.
You have something to add? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I called you Shaya.
People do it a lot. Call me Shaya and her Shaili. But it's a combination of our names, not
So, I know.
he's Yahav, I'm Shaili, so Sha, Ya, Shayav. Now I'll go to her. It's okay? Okay.